The hospital corridor was eerily silent, broken only by the faint beep of machines and the distant echo of hurried footsteps. A small girl, no older than 7, stood trembling near the glass doors of the emergency wing, her tiny fists pressed against the cold metal frame. Her eyes, wide and brimming with tears, searched desperately for help. "Those men won't let my mommy in the hospital," she cried, her voice cracking with fear and frustration. Every passing second felt like an eternity, and the weight of helplessness pressed down on her fragile shoulders. The air around her seemed heavy with despair, as if the hospital itself was holding its breath. If you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Tales. Every click spreads hope to those who need it most. Clutching her mother's worn handbag, the little girl's heart pounded as she looked toward the entrance again. Her mother, a kind woman with tired eyes and a soft smile, was trapped just beyond the line of intimidating men who barred her path. These men were rough, clad in dark jackets that seemed to swallow their imposing frames, their faces shadowed and unreadable. They weren't just standing there, they were a wall of authority, a seemingly insurmountable barrier between a daughter and the person she loved most in the world. The little girl's chest heaved with sobs as she tried to reason with them, her small voice trembling yet persistent. She didn't understand why rules or threats mattered when her mother's life was at stake. She didn't understand why the world seemed so unkind when all she wanted was to be with her family. Around her, the hospital staff moved cautiously, hesitant to intervene, but their hesitance only made her panic more. Every passing second felt like a countdown to disaster. Then, the distant rumble of motorcycles broke through the tension like a sudden storm. The sound was deep, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Heads turned, both among the hospital staff and the men blocking the entrance. The rumble grew louder, filling the empty space with an almost reverent energy. Moments later, the Hell's Angels rode into view, a group of men whose reputation alone could silence a room. Yet, in their presence, the little girl felt a spark of hope she hadn't known in minutes that had felt like hours. It was their leather jackets, adorned with patches and symbols of rebellion, that immediately commanded attention, but there was something else too, a sense of unspoken protection, a quiet understanding that they were here for a purpose beyond intimidation. The men dismounted smoothly, the engine still rumbling like a heartbeat beneath the concrete. The intimidating aura around the hospital entrance shifted as they approached, the previously unyielding men stepping back, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. The little girl's trembling began to subside, replaced by a tentative hope. She watched as one of the Hell's Angels, a tall man with a gentle gaze beneath the rugged exterior, moved toward her mother. His voice, though deep and resonant, carried an unexpected softness. "Ma'am, let's get you inside," he said, nodding at the hospital staff to clear a path. The men who had been blocking her way now stepped aside, their own confidence shaken by the unexpected arrival. It was as if the presence of these outsiders had shifted the balance, reminding everyone that compassion could sometimes appear in the most unlikely forms. As her mother was guided into the hospital, the little girl's sobs turned into tears of relief. The world, for that moment, felt like it had tilted back toward justice, kindness, and hope. She ran to her mother's side, her tiny arms wrapping around her in a desperate hug, and for the first time that day, she felt safe. The Hell's Angels lingered a moment longer, their presence a quiet shield, before quietly mounting their bikes and disappearing as suddenly as they had arrived, leaving behind a corridor that felt infinitely brighter. The mother clutched her daughter tightly, whispering words of gratitude between sobs. She had been trying to reach the hospital all day, but circumstances and threats had made it impossible. What had seemed like an insurmountable barrier had crumbled, not because of authority or rules, but because of a group of people who chose to act with courage and heart when it mattered most. The hospital staff, witnessing the unfolding scene, were silently reminded that sometimes the unexpected, even those with a rough exterior or fearsome reputation, could be the very agents of hope the world desperately needed. The little girl, her face pressed against her mother's shoulder, realized something powerful: bravery and kindness could wear many faces, and help could come from the most surprising places. As the mother was finally admitted, the little girl felt the weight of fear lifting off her chest. The day's terror transformed into an emotional lesson she would carry forever, that even in moments of despair, when it seems like no one is listening, intervention, compassion, and courage could arrive just in time. It wasn't about rules, or fear, or appearances. It was about humanity, about choosing to step forward when it mattered most. From that day on, the mother and daughter often spoke of the unlikely heroes who had changed their lives. The little girl's memory of that day, how the rumble of motorcycles announced salvation and how strangers became guardians, was etched into her heart. It reminded her that the world could be harsh, but it could also surprise you with moments of unexplainable grace. If this story has touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us continue to tell stories that inspire, heal, and remind the world of the power of courage and kindness. Before you leave, I'd love for you to leave a comment about a moment when someone unexpectedly stepped into your life and changed everything. Sharing these experiences keeps hope alive for others. In the end, the little girl learned something profound: fear is temporary, hope is relentless, and courage can appear in anyone, even those who might seem unlikely. And as her mother held her close in the quiet of the hospital, both understood that this day, terrifying yet miraculous, would forever be a testament to the unpredictable kindness of strangers and the enduring power of love.